Hey everybody, it's Paul Harris with Blackhawk Recruiters here in sunny California. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Last week was my Super Bowl, right? My Super Bowl of trade shows. It was ConnectX in Charlotte, North Carolina. So this is the old PCIA, which became WIA, right? Wireless Infrastructure Association. And they put on this fantastic event, ConnectX, right? Connecting everything. This was at the Charlotte Convention Center, May 21 through 24. And it was a fantastic, fantastic show. In the next few minutes, I'm going to try to give you my high points, the meaty points of what happened, and then also, if you weren't able to make it there, I want to make sure make you feel like you were there. So here we go. So this was a great event, super well attended. I think they broke a record. I think it was about 2,500 people. Great keynotes from FCC Chairman Pai, Charlie Ergen from Dish Networks. I'm going to tell you about his speech in just a second. Phenomenal, surprising news he gave to everybody. And then, of course, Jonathan Adelstein from WIA. So let's get into this. So why is this my Super Bowl? Because every topic, everybody there is right where we recruit. So we talked a whole bunch of, you know what's going on with the drinking from the fire hose in the telecom infrastructure space. And there's just so many use cases that are driving the need for data, and then obviously the need for telecom infrastructure. We talked about 5G, FirstNet, smart cities, small cell, fiber, dark fiber, deep fiber, front haul, back haul, autonomous vehicles, including the fact that each autonomous vehicle is going to require 40 terabytes of data on a 24-hour period. Absolutely amazing. Talked about in-building wireless for the enterprise, a lot about CBRS. I'm going to go deep dive on CBRS in just a minute, so stand by. IoT, data centers and compute power moving to the edge. We talked about CRAN, we talked about the money investing coming into the tower world, and then of course the T-Mobile Sprint merger and what's going on with that. So you guys, and like I said, every one of those topics and every person there was right where we recruit. So it's, like I said, it was just so great to see everybody. And anyways, let me get into the meat. So you guys, day one typically is only the golf tournament, right? This year they did something different. For those who wanted to golf, they could do the golf tournament, but for those who didn't want to golf, or people like me who are a much better student than I am a golfer, I was able to attend a full half day on nothing but CBRS, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go deep dive in just a bit, so hang on. At night was the WWLF, right? So the Women Wireless Leadership Forum. They always do a fantastic network mixer, basically, and some of those things are always so well connected that you kind of feel like a sardine in a sardine can sometimes. This was a great venue. It was held at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, huge, beautiful venue. So there's plenty room to move around. It was still crowded because it was so well attended. It was probably their best event ever. So that was ended the night. So the next day was kind of things went really kicked off. Let's start off with the keynote speeches. Jonathan Adelstein, CEO of the Wireless Infrastructure Association, talked about all the work that what they're all doing with Congress on many different issues. The fact that they have helped 20 states pass laws that help speed up deployments. And then they talked a little bit about the skill shortage and the deployments as well. FCC Chairman Pai, he talked about how 4G has boosted the U.S. economy by $100 billion in terms of growth. He talked about the efforts the FCC is doing along with Jonathan Adelstein and gang to make the deployments faster, cheaper, and easier. He talked about trying to free up some C-band spectrum, and then of course playing to the crowd. So this is Charlotte, North Carolina, right, home of NASCAR. So he talked about the race to 5G, and he whipped out a quote from Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. If you've ever seen that goofy movie, it's hilarious. And he talked about the race to 5G, and the quote from Ricky Bobby: "If you ain't first, you're last." So anyways, that went over well with the crowd. Here's the shocker from Charlie Ergen from Dish Networks, you guys. So we all know that Dish Networks has bought $40 billion in nationwide spectrum that must be used by 2020. We know that they announced that they were going to spend $1 billion in deploying a narrowband IoT network for basically machine-to-machine connections. But what we didn't know, and he dropped the bomb on everybody, is that they plan on investing up to $10 billion with a B on a 5G nationwide build, and they're not thinking about and talking about it. They're actually starting to do it. They're ordering equipment. Some of the people in that room have been involved in the build out. And if you think about Sprint and T-Mobile, what they spend together on a capex every year, this is going to outpace them. So it was huge news for all of us in the industry, and it went over very, very well, as you can imagine. Michael O'Reilly, the FCC commissioner, he talked about the race to 5G, and he talked about something that I hadn't thought about, which is that in other countries that are trying to beat us in the race to 5G, they use public funding. The government says, hey, we're going to spend all this money, where in our world it's AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint that we're asking them to do that, and of course Dish Networks at this point as well. He talked about this term you've probably heard lately, the bad actors, right? So he talked about bad actors in cities where one city, for a small cell deployment and zoning and permitting, etc., they'll charge $200, and this city over here will charge $2,000, right? Basically extracting, or some could say maybe extorting money from the carriers. That was an interesting speech. Ed Davis, who's a former police commissioner for the city of Boston, so where they have the Boston Marathon, and they had the terror attack there while he was there. So of course he talked a lot about FirstNet and how FirstNet not only gives these folks priority but also preemption to the 600,000 police agencies in the United States, and what good news that is for them, and I would agree. Next one was this is interesting. So there was the IT director for NASCAR, a guy named Steve Whirling, and he talked about the fact that they have 80 million fans for NASCAR, and what they do, which I never thought of, is they basically bring the telecom infrastructure to a NASCAR event every week, set it up and tear it down, including 2 full data centers, 75 servers, and up to 20,000 feet of fiber. They set up, tear down, and haul off to the next NASCAR event every weekend. Incredible amount of effort, I'm sure. There was a good one that I always enjoy, which is the investment outlook for the tower world. So these are the money guys, right? So Jennifer Fritchie from Bank of America, Clayton Fung from MVP Capital, they kind of help facilitate buying and selling of towers. Nick Del Dio, an analyst from MoffettNathanson, and then Rick Prentice from Raymond James. So some of the quotes from that one really, really enjoyed, which was Jennifer Fritchie. She said it was the start of a big investment cycle. Rick Prentice said that he's never found a better business model than towers, as proven by the guys that are in the world. When they sell a tower portfolio, what do? They get right back in and buy another tower portfolio, lease it up, sell it, do it again, right? They talked about the T-Mobile Sprint merger, and was that a good thing for the tower world? There was a little bit of mixed results on that. And then Rick also pointed out that with the carriers putting a ton of money into 4G, how it really didn't benefit so much the carriers, because the ARPU for carriers is going down, although they're spending all this money, so the income's less, but the outgo is more. So who's really benefiting? And what he talked about with the real beneficiaries are the FANGs, right? You've heard about this, right? Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, they're the beneficiaries from the carrier's investment. Very, very interesting. So that was kind of day one. That night was the Music Movement concert, right? So this is Stacy and Bill D'Agostino from Music Movement. They put on a concert every year to benefit children with autism and using music as kind of therapy, basically. It was a great, beautiful evening, by the way. Rooftop venue, great music, the Jonathan Adelstein Spectrum Band, or whatever they're called these days. They got up there and they did their thing. They were fantastic. And then of course the main event was not halftime, but over between the bands, Bill and Stacy get up there, talk about what Music Movement is, and then Alex Gelman from Vertical Bridge. Vertical Bridge is the main sponsor. So they got up there, and of course, Alex did a speech and wrote a big old check to Music Movement on behalf of Vertical Bridge. So wonderful, positive, beautiful evening, guys. So, anyways, let me get back to the business. So day two. let's talk about back to the keynote. So this is the view from the top. This is the one that I think everybody waits for. So these are the tower guys, right? Jay Brown from Crown Castle, Jeff Stoops from SBA, Alex from Vertical Bridge, and then David Weissman from Insight. They talk about the pros and cons to the T-Mobile Sprint merger and what it's going to mean to the tower world. They talked about the fact that the multiples in the tower world are still at all-time highs, how the carriers are spending more money on small cell deployments than they are on macro deployments, but however 5G, the macros are going to be instrumental and integral to the 5G deployments, and how 5G will be requiring MIMO antennas, so multiple input, multiple output antennas. They're big behemoths, big old, very, very heavy, and what that's going to mean to the tower world amendments and et cetera like that. Martha DeGrasse, who used to be with RCR Wireless, she now is the publisher of Network Builder Reports. She interviewed one-on-one with Mark Ganzi from Vertical Bridge, and the kind of the output from that I took away was that Mark said that there's going to be 7 trillion with a T devices connected by 2030. So this business is just so phenomenal right now, you guys, and it's going to be for a long time. Very last one I want to mention. I told you I was going to go deep dive on CBRS. I spent a half day learning about that. I knew a bit, but not as much as I should have. So let me give you it really quickly, and then I'll end. So CBRS, Citizens Broadband Radio Services. What is it? Basically, in 2010. The president did a memorandum saying that he wanted to move 150 megahertz of spectrum. You guys, that's a huge, huge swath. Take it away from the underutilized Navy. They're not really using it, and make it available for commercial use. Why is everybody excited about CBRS? A whole bunch of different reasons. One is because the use cases are many. It's a very flexible spectrum. It's a spectrum. It's common to all categories. So, cellular, Wi-Fi, LTE, neutral host, etc. It's much more capital efficient from a CapEx perspective. So it's up to 70% cheaper when put in a neutral host environment, which CBRS with neutral host is called what they're calling the killer app. 20 countries are looking at CBRS, according to Iyad Tarazi, who's the CEO of Federated Wireless, and they're neck deep in the CBRS world. 30 OEMs are making equipment, and Verizon has said they're going to have CBRS handsets by the end of the year. If you want to learn more on this, I would suggest you go to the Wireless Innovation Forum, which is basically they represent all the different stakeholders in CBRS world, and then also the CBRS Alliance, which sets standards, and they're trying to kind of brand it as not so much CBRS, but the new branding of OnGo. They also said they were looking for CPIs, which are Certified Professional Installers. So once again, if you want to learn more about that, Wireless Innovation Forum and the CBRS Alliance. So you guys, that was it. Once again, I hope that if you weren't able to make it, that I felt like made you feel like you were there and got a little bit of information in terms of the the highlights of what happened. Next for me is going to be DAS and Small Cell Congress in Vegas. And when I'm back from that, I'll do a little download. And thank you for listening, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.